go ahead and share if you've traveled to Taiwan, if you have experience exporting to Taiwan, because I'm really curious to see everyone's experience level with this market. As you'll see throughout this presentation, and then also with PR Consultants, Rosalind and her team's presentation, the opportunity, the demographics present a lot of opportunity for U.S. food products. But as I will start with, there are challenges and a lot of requirements for shipping to Taiwan. So I'm definitely interested to know within this group who has had experience and what your familiarity is with the market. So I will try to make shipping regulations as interesting and dynamic as possible, but bear with me. A lot of this information is available through the various government websites that you'll see. I'll mention several of them. And as we recommend at Bryant Christie in any country, definitely always work with your importer. And that relationship is so important to make sure that you are in compliance. In Taiwan, there is plenty of opportunity and there's a demand for imported food products. Premium U.S. food products are perceived as premium food products and imported products. But the risk and the penalty for noncompliance with their regulations, their paperwork, their forms is higher than most markets, especially in Asia. So this is something I'll address, but we wanted to cover all those requirements, make sure you're aware of them, labeling requirements, compliance with pesticide regulations, additive contaminant regulations, and then we'll also transition into the distribution sector and the different formats that different parts of the market that you may work with and sell into. And then, like I said, PR Consultants will share with end this presentation with a video recording covering the opportunities and the various niche markets, with them also covering bakery products. So for my initial slides, I'll give you an update on the tariff situation. That's been definitely front of mind and a topic that Bryant Christie has been covering over the past several months with the Trump administration's various trade policies. So I'll give an overview of what the tariff situation looks like for Taiwan specifically. I'll give you an overview of the regulatory requirements and the various process and systems in which you would be interacting with and engaging and complying with in Taiwan. I'll cover labeling and shipping requirements, and then, as I said, give you an overview of the various distribution channels and how that impacts the various requirements that you deal with. And then we'll finish with a case study and presentation by PR Consultants. Tariff overview. So here we go, a timeline. All of this will likely seem familiar if you've been following the news, but these are specific updates to Taiwan. On March 26, President Trump announced a 25% tariff on imports into the U.S. of autos, auto parts, and computers. On April 2nd, President Trump announced a 32% reciprocal tariff on nearly all Taiwanese imports, excluding semiconductors. So that would include food products and agricultural products as well. On April 5th, a 10% minimum tariff on imports into the U.S. from all countries enters into force. So that's that 10% that you saw across the board on products coming into the U.S. As a reciprocal effort in face of the tariffs we face internationally. April 7th, Taiwan's premier convenes a cross-party meeting to discuss U.S. tariff impacts. A $2.8 billion support package was proposed in response to the tariffs. We've seen that in various capacities across other countries as well in response. And then April 9th was when the U.S. reduced the 32% tariff on Taiwanese goods to that 10% baseline level for 90 days to facilitate trade negotiations. So that is in effect until early July. Regulatory overview. This image has a waterfall, so I hope you all enjoy that. But I'll move right along. It's compliance essentials, food safety, MRLs, and documentation for exporting to Taiwan. So as an overview, the MRL limits and food safety rules are enforced by Taiwan's Food and Drug Administration. So any requirement that you are formed to fill out, any regulation, you would want to confirm your compliance with Taiwan's FDA. That's something your importer or distributor in Taiwan would guide you through that process. MRLs and food safety regulations. So MRLs, like I said, are regulated by the Food and Drug Administration. Taiwan maintains a positive list system, which means only pesticides with established MRLs are permitted. A positive list system is a separate MRL policy system that was set up as, like I said, separate from the Codex system, which in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was consensus that countries should standardize pesticide MRLs and to make food exporters across the world have an easier time managing MRLs and having consensus on standards globally so that each country is not regulating MRLs on their own. The impact on individual country MRLs is that as a producer, as an agricultural producer, as a food product manufacturer, you have to regulate the residues and the contaminant levels of your products based on where you plan to sell your product. And that is very complicated. It's costly and expensive to manage, and it really limits your ability to access export markets. So this is an area that Brian Christie has been involved in for over 30 years that we've been in business, is managing and working to standardize and harmonize MRLs via Codex. It still exists, but countries, including Taiwan, which really started this trend in establishing their own MRL list with the positive list system, does have their own MRL. So when you are exporting products, I know, Musada's constituent base and stakeholders represent a wide variety of products. You will want to check and see what the requirements are in Taiwan and how they may differ from other markets or that you sell internationally or sell in the United States. Another market that also uses a positive list system is Korea. They transitioned later. They gave a 3-year transition period within the past, 15 years, but they also maintain a positive list system. So it's similar in how it's enforced. MRL violations are treated very seriously in Taiwan, often increasing surveillance rates on imports from the entire industry. They are reported in the newspaper, in the media, and can lead to serious brand damage for U.S. exporters. Oftentimes, it has a ripple effect on other products, similar products. If one industry exports one product there, it may impact another industry coming up, and their season may follow right after. And then they start to kind of look at the general category, like fruit, for example. So this is an area that we advise exporters to monitor very closely and to be aware that it's not only an issue of having a rejection at port, but there is that additional consumer PR standpoint that these often get picked up on. And consumers are very mindful of the contaminants and the level of residues in their food, and Taiwan takes it very seriously. So, like I said, Taiwan has it's pretty straightforward in its requirements in terms of documentation, labeling requirements, and then as well as listing the MRLs and various contaminant levels that are permitted on products, but the enforcement is very strict. And that's something to keep in mind as you pursue opportunities here. The U.S. Department of Agriculture and Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, does provide access to the FCID, the Food Chain ID pesticide database. This is formerly the Brian Christie MRL database, but transitioned to the Food Chain ID system several years ago. But using federal funds, they do maintain the pesticide database, which I hope many of you are familiar with already, but you can track and compare US MRLs to Taiwan. And that will provide up-to-date MRLs for both countries, as well as a variety of other countries to compare. Commodity health certification. So Here are two bodies in which you can obtain different certifications that are required by Taiwan. The plant, and within APHIS, the phytosanitary certificate is required for plant origin commodity exports. That's VS Form 16-6 or PPQ 577. Taiwan's Council of Agriculture, or BAFIC, also accepts only accepts original phytosanitary certificates. So that is something to keep in mind. It must be the original documentation that is submitted to Taiwan. APHIS and FSIS, Animal Health Certificate. For animal products and meat products, the U.S. meat and poultry exports require FSIS 9060-5. And then additionally, exports to Taiwan require the specific FSIS Form 9285-1. Dairy and egg products may require the APHIS VS Form 16-4 certificate, but that depends on the specific products within the dairy and egg category. So it's something to definitely note and look into and make sure that you're compliant if you are exporting any dairy or egg product. Export and import documentation. So on the U.S. export documentation side, the EEI ACE filing, commercial invoice, packing list, a bill of lading or airway bill, shipper's letter of introduction, certificate of origin or export permits and licenses are required. On the Taiwan import documentation, import declaration, commercial invoice, packing list, and then special Taiwan import licenses and permits are available through the Council of Agriculture and the TFDA, the Taiwan Food and Drug Administration food registration process. So now moving on to labeling and shipping documentation. So labeling and certification standards for U.S. exports to Taiwan. The Taiwan mandates detailed food labels and product-specific certificates. And I'll go through several of these here. So first, country of origin. All food products sold at retail markets are required to have country of origin labeling. Small food vendors without company registration are exempt from this requirement. Genetically engineered labeling. Raw materials and primary products from GE products must be labeled as such. Secondary products made with GE materials are exempt. Allergens. The allergen labeling is required on all prepackaged foods that include the following substances: shrimp, crab, mango, peanut, milk, egg, nuts, sesame, cereals, soybean, fish, and sulfites. Date marking. These are required on the side of the container, and they must be in the format year, month, day. The nutritional information is regulated under the FDA, the regulation on nutrition claims and prepackaged food. Nutrition tables are required on all prepackaged food products. And then lastly, the organic labeling. The organic agricultural products must include the verifying organization and certificate number on the label. And that's as negotiated with the reciprocity agreement with the U.S. So and I want to make a comment that all of these areas internationally are changing. There are often notifications made to the WTO. They're published in their own country. Their registrar of notifications that are published in their country language, but they are monitored by the U.S. government. And all of these items are proposed. There's dates for compliance and something to make sure that if there are changes that you are always in compliance and understand when they go into effect if it changes any of your packaging requirements. U.S. regulatory export certification. So here we wanted to break down to show you which entity in the U.S. you would be able to obtain these various forms for. So the FSIS, the Food Safety and Inspection Service issues the export certificate for wholesomeness, and then Form 9285-1, which is specific for Taiwan. APHIS will issue the export health certificate, VS Form 16-4 and 16-6. AMS, the Agricultural Marketing Service, issues the certification for export of organic products, or Form TM11. The FDA, this is the US FDA, issues the certificate for gelatin collagen intended for human consumption, and this is a request from Taiwan to have issued. Others are the NOAA Fish Health Certificate, so any products that contain seafood. FGIS for grain, their inspection certificate, U.S. Customs weight certificate, and the fumigation certificate. So now looking into distribution, I'm going to introduce the various channels for distribution, but PR consultants will provide a really great overview of the various opportunities within each sector. So for U.S. food products, like I said, your relationships with importers and distributors is the most important. Most products enter Taiwan via established importers who handle customs, storage, and distribution. While there is a variety of companies available, there has been increased consolidation in the distributor importer sector in Taiwan. So your ability to access and establish relationships with the help of organizations like WUSADA is really important to establish that relationship and make sure you're compliant. Modern retail. So major retailers, international retailers, have a strong presence in Taiwan, such as Carrefour, Costco, and PX Smart. They do source through distributors and importers, but many of them also have direct contracts. So that's something that PR consultants, for example, as an extension of WUSADA, can help you navigate and better understand specific opportunities to source directly to these retailers or work with a distributor and importer. E-commerce. So e-commerce is, as you all know, a major revenue and shopping channel in Asia, not only in Taiwan, but the platforms like Shopee and Momo are increasingly listing premium imported food products and are really popular with young and urban consumers. And you'll see a lot of the demographics shifts and trends in PR Consultants' upcoming presentation. And then wholesale markets. So there's large volume hubs like Taipei Agricultural Products Marketing for more fresh fruit, vegetable, perishable products are still common, and they do distribute to retailers and food service. Consumer preferences and market opportunities. Specific to Taiwan, there's a strong demand for U.S. foods. They rely heavily on imported food products and ingredients as well. They do have a value for premium luxury ingredients for even manufactured items in Taiwan. They have a strong gift-giving culture. This is common throughout Asian markets. Premium foods are popular gifts during festivals like Lunar New Year, Mid-Autumn Festival, and they drive demand for high-quality imports. And then there's a growing preference for organic and sustainably sourced items, particularly among demographics. I think this aligns with their heightened awareness in Taiwan of the residues and contaminants in food. It aligns with their health conscious mindset, looking for items that are safe. And the US really benefits from a reputation of safe, compliant food products. At this point, I want to launch a video of the presentation from PR Consultants. It's Rosalind and her colleague will go over the specific opportunities for U.S. food products as well as opportunities within the baking sector.
Consultants, the representative of WUSADA here in Taiwan. Thank you for joining today's webinar. Our goal today is to give you a clear picture of Taiwan's dynamic food market and highlight the opportunity it holds for U.S. food exporters. Now, I would like to introduce my colleague, Oakley, who will take you through the market trends, consumer preferences, and strategic opportunity for U.S. food products. Enjoy.
I'm here to share Taiwan market overview with you. Let's begin with a brief overview of the Taiwan market. Taiwan has a population of 23.4 million, with a slight annual growth rate of 0.06%. GDP per capita is expected to grow by 8.6%. Reaching USD $35,000 a month in 2025. In terms of the global rankings, Taiwan is the world's sixth largest foreign reserve holder. It also ranks fourth in per capita consumption of U.S. agricultural products following Canada, Mexico, and South Korea. In 2022, Taiwan imported 3.7 billion worth of agricultural and related products from the U.S., accounting for 22.8% of total imports. Now, let's take a look at the structure of Taiwan's economy. The GDP is composed of 15% of service, 40% industry, and only 1% agricultural. This low share of agriculture also reflects in Taiwan's food self-sufficiency rate, just 33%, meaning the country relies heavily on imported food. Among Taiwan's trading partners, the United States plays a major role, exporting beef, processed vegetables, and wine. In 2022 alone, Taiwan imported 4.3 billion in U.S. agricultural products. However, competition is intensifying. Over the past decade, Taiwan's import value from China increased by 49%, the EU by 48%, New Zealand by 41%, Thailand by 26%, and South Korea by 22%. In terms of product categories, U.S. export of poultry, beef, non-alcoholic beverage, dairy, and processed vegetables are growing, while corn and soybeans are on a downward trend. Now, let's talk about opportunities in Taiwan. The first, we're moving on the retail sector. Taiwan has nearly 60,000 physical stores. Each convenience store serves around 1,500 people, making Taiwan the country with the second highest convenience store density in the world. In recent years, retailers have responded quickly to changing consumer habits by opening more outlets in residential areas. Second, expanding ready-to-eat food sections. Third, actively expanding e-commerce channel, distribution logistics, and cooperation with food delivery apps companies. The retail landscape is led by three major groups. First one, United President System, Costco, second, Costco System, and Pizza Mart System. Most retailers also operate their own mobile apps, making online shopping increasingly accessible. According to a 2024 survey, the top 5 product categories sold online were: first, beauty and skincare; second, clothing; third, daily necessities; fourth, electronics; and 5 is our food product. Even though food ranks in the top 5, many Taiwanese consumers still prefer buying food in person, mainly for peace of mind when seeing the actual product. Next, let's talk about the bakery sector, an area that continues to grow steadily. The total market value is around 2.3 billion, with an annual growth rate of 5 to 7%. This fueled by rising disposable incomes, stronger demand for artisanal and health-oriented baked goods, and the expansion of modern retail. The key distribution channels include modern retailers, bakery stores, and what makes Taiwan bakery market unique and its fusion of influences. First, from Japan, we have soft, fluffy, and super baked. From Europe, the use of natural ingredients and the fermentation methods. Third, frequent uses of dry fruits, nuts, cheese, and cream. Plus, a strong emphasis on creativity and innovation. In terms of consumer demographics, 80% of bakery purchasers are over 30 years old, and they tend to favor products that are soft, healthy, flavorful, and in line with Japanese trends. Now we shift to the organic market. While still relatively small, this market is still sorry. Now we shift to the organic market. While this market is still relatively small, it is a developing segment. Due to the strict certification processes, not all brands can obtain an official organic label. However, companies can still appeal to health-conscious consumers by promoting clean labels, carbon reduction, and natural ingredients. On the supply side, Taiwan has around 8,000 hectares of certified organic farmland, but only 1% of its total agricultural land. The major organic crops are rice, vegetables, and fruits. When it comes to imports, the US leads the way, accounting for 47% of Taiwan's organic imports. Other key sources include Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and the EU. Now let's look at the Taiwan demographics and their impact on purchasing behavior. The population stands at 23.37 million, and Gen X, Gen Z, and millennials together make up 62% of purchase decision makers. According to 2025 report by National Development Council, Taiwan society is aging, and younger generation are increasingly become the main drivers of household consumption. These younger generations, first, the younger generation forms new families. That household size is smaller. It leads to key purchaser flows to younger groups. Second, they rely heavily on digital channels for shopping, information, and entertainment. Third, they care more about health and wellness, especially in their food service choices. Of course, digital life is now the norm. Smartphones and social media are essential to everyday life. Social media usage in Taiwan grew from 83% to 91% during the 5 years. About the post-COVID way, the way consumers shop and eat has also evolved. We are seeing three trends. The first is domestic demands. Second, OMO business model. Third, health awareness. About the domestic demands, increasing wealth, smaller household size, and an aging population has led to a transformation of food distribution. Healthy diet, quality products, food safety are the major factors affecting purchase decision of the food. About the OMO business model, bricks and mortar stores are crucial as they provide diversity and convenience. E-commerce market continues to expand as it provides home delivery services. The last one, health awareness. Health awareness is on the rise, and consumers are paying more attention to food nutrition and product origin. We highlight three important consumer trends shaping the food sector. First, organic is aspiration. Organic is seen as healthy, eco-friendly, and high quality. However, strict laws limit its adoption. Second, clean labels are on the rise. Less processed and additive-free products appeal strongly to your younger consumers. Many processors are now adopting these standards, and these products are being placed alongside organic ones in stores. And the third is carbon labeling. Taiwanese food companies are working toward low carbon production. Getting certified with carbon footprint labels not only reduces emissions but also enhances brand image. As the modern retail chains, the most popular import food items include meat, like beef, poultry, and seafood, dairy product and cheese product, and processed food or frozen fruit and vegetable, healthy snacks, healthy supplements, and so on. Of course, we can explore the non-alcoholic beverages sector. Consumers are shifting toward healthier, low-sugar drinks. Sports and fitness trends have led to development of electrolyte-rich sport drinks. Carbonate drinks are being reformulated to reduce sugar and add fiber. Meanwhile, functional beverages with added fiber, vitamins, and minerals are gaining popularity, especially among health-focused consumers. About Taiwan bakery sector, here are some key ingredients for bakery products with healthy and clean label focus. First one, flours and grains, multigrain flours and gluten-free flours. Second, natural sweeteners such as honey and syrup. Third, fats and oil, whole-pressed oils, butter, and plant-based butter. Fourth, leavening agents such as natural yeast, wild yeast. Five, binder and amino sugars, chia seed, flaxseed, sunflower lectin, and so on. And how can we do business in Taiwan? There are two main distribution routes after being imported by local importers. First one, through retailers or food service providers, and then to consumers. Second, through wholesalers who directly supply product to consumers. There are special two main ways when you get a product and you want to get into Taiwanese market. Now let's talk about what challenge we face. First, uncertain future of global economy. Second, less friendly regulatory environments. Stricter regulatory environments such as the FDA's rigorous inspection requirements. Third, increasing countries begin FTA negotiation with Taiwan. More and more countries are entering FTA negotiations with Taiwan, leading to increased competitions. Fourth is currency risk and the USD fluctuation. And the fifth is shortage in manpower and high operation cost. What is our mission? There are 3 points. First, we preferred US product make top choices. Second, we need to get more new usage and get more consumption. And of course, the last one is more money you can return. If you have any questions or would like further information, please feel free to reach out to us. We will be happy to assist you. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Well, at this point, I'm going to hand it over back to Nilda, who's going to share the upcoming WUSADA events with you all.
Thank you, Alicia. And just to share with everyone, again, some of the upcoming WUSADA events. We do have the WUSADA Pavilion at Food Taipei trade show. That's coming up next month, June 25th through the 28th. Registration for that event has already closed. We do have the IBIE Expo, the International Baking Industry Expo, that is coming up in September. September 13th through the 17th, and registration will be forthcoming. We also have on our activities scheduled a Taiwan restaurant promotion. And October of 2025, information for that will be forthcoming. And then we also have a Taiwan consumer-oriented outbound mission that'll be in Taipei and Kaohsiung. That'll be in November, the 17th through the 21st, 2025. And again, that registration is forthcoming for that as well. So we will be posting that information as our team and project managers are working on those events.
Great, a lot of good opportunities. So with that, this concludes our presentation. Are there any, I'll stop sharing my screen and we can go into any questions.
We had one on here, but it was, I think, already answered regarding ice cream. But it was already. Would finished ice cream fall under 16-4? And Jack was able to answer that question.
It was. And then market reports on the frozen industry. I can just share that the Foreign Agricultural Service publishes gain reports. They're prepared annually, but then they also do periodic reports on special sectors. And so they likely have prepared a report on frozen food products. They have like retail reports. They also have ingredient sector reports. They'll also cover shipping and regulation requirements. So we'd be happy, Nelda, if you'd like, we could follow up with Brian and send him a collection of links that the USDA has provided on the frozen markets that may be in addition to other reports that WUSADA has prepared.
Yes, and actually I wanted to add to that, Brian, I can reach out to you as well because we can actually, I can do some data research on those specific, on your specific products, as well as any other company products. If you're looking for market reports, we're able to decipher that information and provide that data, that background data. So what I'll do is I'll reach out to y'all directly and visit with you and make that available to you.
There's a question from Karen about ability to register for Food Type A, even if it's closed.
I'm going to have to ask
question
on that, and I will get back to you on that, Karen. I'm not sure how strict they are or how that process works, but I can find out and let you know today. And then Molly Bradbury had a question on, could I get more information regarding liquor industry imports? Yes, I can either utilize FAS reports or I can go into Euromonitor and pull that information. So Molly, I will send you an email directly and get some more specifics from you. Yes, Richard, to answer your question, will this webinar be available for download to share with colleagues? I'm actually going to email everyone a copy of the video presentation. We will also have it available on our WUSADA website, so I will get that to you as well.
I'll also remind everyone that as the follow-up as well, we do have the one-on-one consultations where you can sign up and we'll have 30 minutes together. WUSADA and Nelda will join us as well. And we can go through your specific product portfolio, any specific issues, requirements you may have questions about. That's what that time is intended for. And then there may be additional follow-up from there, but we can get you more specific information after we have that one-on-one consultation. So we'd be happy to talk further with any of you about those needs, and Nelda will share the link to sign up.
That is correct. Thank you, Alicia. And just to follow up to let everyone know, everyone will receive a copy of the video or the link of also a survey link so we can get your feedback on the information that was provided in today's webinar. And at the same time, like Alicia said, that one-on-one consultation, there will be a link in there as well. So yes. Any other questions? And if there's some specific questions that you might have, say that you wanted to direct to PR consultant that, we may not be able to answer the question now, but I can facilitate and we can get in contact with them should you have any other specific questions directed at PR consulting since they weren't on the webinar today. Any other comments, questions? If not,